Nice.
Smaller.
You like it better?
Yeah. You hear me on the way cheaper.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Hell yeah.
Let's do a podcast right now.
I like it. Let's go.
All right, introduce yourself real quick, bro.
Hey,
Your
guys.
name and show off, bro. Don't humble yourself. say something that will make them listen.
All right. Hey, I'm Dr. Amer Hussain, owner of Pure Orthodontics and a couple other dental practices. I think we are one of the largest left single-owned non-corporate orthodontic practices in North America at this point.
They get bought out usually.
Yeah, pee and stuff. Let's kind of brag about.
How many locations?
So we got, let's see here. Okay, so we're at 10 and counting. We got a bunch coming up on deck that we're looking at, but we're kind of spreading into possibly some other stuff right now. And then,
Revenue?
man, 8 figures easy.
8 figures.
Yeah, consistently, year after year.
How long did that take you to build?
I'd say it was about I want to say about 5-6 years kind of thing in there. Like the first little half. So, went through a divorce. And got married 2 times. Currently married with 2 wives. 2 Lamborghinis.
There
2
you go.
half houses. Still pay for that ex. Still pay for all my kids. Got 8 kids.
8 kids.
3 stepkids, 5 of my own.
We're not saying this to brag. Usually he's not gonna say all of this, but I forced him to so that you guys take a listen. Are we doing the same cut?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to San Diego this Sunday, so make it look good.
Sick. How many flights did you take last year?
Oh man, I don't even know. I'm at super elite status with Air Canada. So I've been like that for like years now.
Sick.
Yeah. Sweet. I try to travel. You know what, man? I think last year I almost traveled like once a month to break it up, but it's been wild. Like, I was like, even this year, man, I bought out the whole calendar and like put it on the thing. And I had some big trips. I already hit like Bora Bora, and then we got going, got St. Lucia coming up, and then San Diego right away here. And then I'm going to Sydney, Australia, and Singapore in May. And then probably during playoffs, I'll follow playoffs around, basketball and hockey, and some of that stuff.
Shit.
And then,
World Cup?
yeah, I got my tickets. Got tickets.
You got it?
Yeah. Got tickets for World Cup, the Vancouver series. What else we got? Geez, yeah. Then I got September. I usually take off for my birthday, so I usually take a bunch of weeks off there. And then like, there's a meeting I got to do with Philly. I got my schedule.
So
Try to be in BC in summer a lot because it's nice out there.
a little bit of context. We didn't plan this. He just booked a haircut, and now we're doing content.
Yeah.
He comes to me regularly,
write
every
this
2-3
off.
weeks. But before we continue,
Yeah.
our target audience is
Okay.
someone 18 to 25.
All right.
He looks up to all these entrepreneur people, and they're thinking about opening up a business. So that's our target. That's
it.
like our
Got it.
audience watching right now.
Yeah.
I guess let's start with
If your girl's taking too much time up, drop her.
all right, relationship is the first topic
That's
that
your number one
how do
priority.
you find the right girl? All right, let's
Oh,
start with
man.
that.
I mean, honestly, man, I don't even think it's about like. I think if you're searching for a girl, it's already a problem, right? Like, I think you need to focus on yourself and like level yourself up, and you're gonna start attracting like people that are on your vibe. I think that's really the key for it. You're surprised, man, once you get to a certain level and you start like operating at a certain level, how many girls just start coming at you. Then you really just pick and choose like kind of.
If you had to go back again, then how would you have played it out when you're 18 to 25? Well, for you, you were in school though.
And I was like, I got married really young too, right? That
How
first
old?
one? I was like 21, 22.
Really?
Yeah, man. First mistake. I was like,
Would you say that was your biggest business mistake?
Oh, dude, massive.
How does this relationship relate to business?
Jeez. Oh man, it's all the same thing, man. Like people think that like how you are as a person and how you are in a relationship is how you're gonna act at work with your work stuff too. It's like it's not like one thing turns on and one thing turns off. And you go home and then you turn off your business side and all of a sudden you're like this personal side. It's like however you act, you act. Everything's just one. There's no difference between like family, business, like life. It's all one big thing. And so like however you are as a person and how you operate as a person, that's how you're gonna be. So I think back to being like 18 to 25, probably focus on like yourself, right? And leveling yourself up. That's where all these like online coaches and mentors. Oh man, hilarious side note.
What's up?
I saw this website that's busting all these online coaches. I was like, wow.
You're on there?
No,
What?
no. I found this site.
Oh,
that
you found the
does
site.
it.
Okay.
And I was like, it's like a TikTok or Instagram page. But I was like, yo, it's hilarious. Anyways, off topic, sorry. But like, I mean, the one thing, it's funny, man, they all pitch the same stuff, but it's like, if you notice it, man, and I think I'm gonna try this too, but like, it's like, they turn themselves into like an action figure, or like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm gonna get jacked and ripped, and I'm gonna like work out, and I'm gonna talk about like.
They all buy a Lambo.
Yeah,
so
man.
coming from someone with a Lambo,
Hey, man. I
what
had
do
it
you
before it was
think?
cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Just kidding, go
All
ahead.
right, there you go.
Yeah. No, man, I was talking to my son about this, man. I love cars, man. I loved cars when I was like little. I remember when I was like in like high school even, and like even university, and like I'd like just go on these like, back in the day I'd go on these websites to search up cars, and I'd look at different cars and things like that. So, I mean, I've always kind of been into it ever since I was like, you know, I never really bought it. Like, I always remember I bought things like for myself to enjoy, right? Not really so I can like show off and show other people. It's never been like.
Because you drive your 1 out of 250 Lambo in the snow. I've seen you.
Yeah, man.
You have a video of that.
I enjoy it, man. I actually enjoy the stuff. Even watches and stuff. I had a really good advice from a buddy who's like, hey, don't just buy watches just to buy watches, because a lot of guys like try to get into this and start buying shit just so they can get other shit, or like you get office stuff so they just want to buy it. But it's like, man, make sure whatever you buy, you're gonna actually wear and you actually enjoy, right? So I think people get too caught up with that stuff, and it's like, you know, but.
Well, they're trying to sell an image. They're trying to sell a lifestyle.
Big time, right?
And it's for them to get more sales.
Yeah, get more sales
for their course.
They're getting the lifestyle from the
I mean,
course.
it's working for them.
Hey, man.
It's
a crazy
short-term money,
formula,
but
man. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But
So-
again, the thing they say that's actually like powerful and impactful is like, it is true about mindset and like turning yourself into the person that would be that person. That's a lot of like manifestation. When you think about how to manifest, it's like you have to become before you like are. So it's basically like you just like be that person you would be. Like how would you want to be like, you know, a super successful businessman, right? It's like, well, how would a super successful businessman act? And start acting like that person. You know what I mean? So, like,
So how do you find out how that person acts in the first place?
I think you just kind of look around and see like other people that have been super successful in their fields, and like you look at those and like kind of see like how those people would have like responded to the situation and acted, right?
How do you find a mentor?
Oh man, that's tough. I mean, I think they're out there, and it's like a lot of it is kind of like trying to like network and like be in places where they are, and then find and like search for it, right? But I think once again, this is all like the more you level yourself up and the more you're working on yourself, the more you put yourself in those situations, you're gonna start bumping into people that are kind of doing the same things and working the same way. And I think so. It's online. It was like, I think the biggest way to network, honestly, is to become useful. And like, because useful people want useful things from useful people. So the more you start becoming that, the more you'll start seeing that like opportunities arise, and you get access to things.
Who's your mentor?
Oh man, jeez. I don't know, man. I like had a couple guys that when I was younger, they're all like orthodontists, like in the different cities and stuff in the U.S.
Would you say
But they're
you
super
surpassed them or not yet?
Not yet, man. Some of these guys are like just monsters, and that's the cool thing. Like, I think at whatever stage you get to, and like however big you get, there's always a bigger fish, you know. And it's like there's always somebody doing bigger.
Yeah,
and
tell them
better.
that story when you were in the one place.
Which one?
You were like, I don't know, some guy had a nice watch, and you had a nice watch.
Oh, yeah. So I was in Italy at like Lake
Italy?
Como, and then we just like took this like one of my wives wanted to go to this like place, so she found it online where some really famous like place in Lake Como with like these like orange and like umbrellas, all stuff. Anyway, so we take a boat. And then you get to the place, you dock, and then you go to this hotel that's kind of on the beach, and they have a little like restaurant for lunch there. So you post up, and then like we're just chilling, just the two of us, like, and maybe having lunch. And then there's this table kind of like across from us that was like, there's like an older guy and like his 3 kids and his wife, right? And he kept kind of like looking back and like smiling. I had my RM on, and then I think he had an AP, I think. Anyways, he was kind of looking like, and then eventually he kind of just started making conversations, like from America. Ended up just chatting with them, and it's like his kids they play hockey. So we talked about the Oilers and the Rangers, and then it turns out he owns like one of the biggest law firms in like New York, and he's I think Mr. Beast is like one of his clients, and like all this, like just wild stuff. But it all kind of came from like that watch, right? And him seeing the watch, and then just making conversation, and then we started chatting about watches. And like going that way. So I think it's one of those things that like when you have stuff like that and you're in those kind of places, you're kind of pre-selected as like, hey, who's this guy and why does he have that? And so, especially when you don't look like, super douchey and like you're just like a normal guy doing that.
So those expensive stuff does have like its perks sometimes too, right?
I think so, man. I think you're doing it for that reason. They do say it can help with networking and stuff, and like you get to meet a lot of people, and like I have met a lot of people with the cars and like met other guys. Funny now though, like I went out and I was like, man, everyone wants to meet me. Then I have this car. I was like, damn.
Not everyone wants to meet. So how do you choose for spending your time? Like, all right, who's actually worth your time right now? Like so many people ask you, yo, come to this podcast, come to this.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think I just like, if it feels right and it kind of makes sense to me, I'll kind of do it. And it's like, it just depends on, it's the tough part too as you get busier and bigger, right? It's like your time's so valuable that you have to like limit it and be careful like where you like spend it. But I think if you do things with the right intention, if it's like something that's worth it to you and you enjoy it, I think do it. If you aren't enjoying, I should say, don't do that stuff. It kind of eats away at you if you're starting to do. That's where I think people get the burnout from, right? It's like you're starting to do things that like you don't enjoy. I think now it's like, I'm like, I gotta spend my time between my 2 wives, so it's like, that's already 50-50 split. And then like, I got my kids from like, my ex, and so they need time, right? And then my mom lives with me too, and so it's interesting, man. It's like really like, I think as you get older and like, you have a family, you have kids, there's like that balance. A lot of these like things you see like when they're young, right? Not a lot of these people have like a family to balance as well, so we joke about, man, like, if I didn't have like any wives or kids, like, what like lifestyle hypothetically I could be living. But you know what, man, I wouldn't trade any of this stuff. It's funny, like there's all those guys that are like, I'm this like, this 48-year-old single uncle and he's like partying in like the Middle East and then like has all these like random girls around him, right? And I'm like, dude, I would not want that life. There's no way.
So would you say you trade everything just for them? Like you would give up all your wealth, everything?
Totally, man.
Okay.
It's funny, man, because that's your legacy, right? And that's your future, and that's what like life's really, for me, anyways. Like, what I think it's all about, right? Is like having that, and like I think that the happiness I derive from like my kids, and my like family is like way more than anything else, right? Being able to like have them around and like enjoy time with them and spend time with them means more than all the other stuff.
So, 18 years old, 25. They know to get in the right places. You gotta be useful. Let's dig deeper into that.
Okay.
So how do you become useful? Like you're 18, 25. There's so many different like skill sets you can learn. How would you go about like trying to find your skill set?
I think, man, like one sort of thing that I kind of see that's interesting, right? Is like if you look at like anyone that's super elite level of something, right? They're usually not doing a bunch of different things. Like they're usually elite in one specific thing. You think about like, a basketball player, for example, like any like super, they're not like, rapping, making movies, like, selling like, I messed up. Shit. I need to do I got pretty upset about it. Oh, can you, man? That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I'll fade this in.
My man. That's why I love this guy.
So basketball players,
like,
they're all just
that,
focused
or
on
even
one
like
thing.
a musician. It's really rare that you'll see somebody that's like doing like super elite stuff in multiple different fields. It's really rare, right? Most of the times, like they're a master of their craft, right? And so I think looking to do like find someone that like at that age is like sort of mastering stuff and like figure out something that you can get super dialed in at that can help you would be the thing to kind of find out what that is for you.
If you weren't a dentist, what would that be for you?
Jeez. I think now, knowing what I know now, if I would have like, it probably still would have been something, I guess, business related. I really enjoy like marketing, sales, even like the financial aspect of stuff, right? So I think that stuff would probably be something. I think I'd do something where I could probably. I still like helping people, so I'd probably do something where I could help people at something like that.
Consulting or something.
Yeah.
So, what should be the next question? 18, 25. We talked about how to find the right girl,
Did we talk
how
about
to
that?
become useful.
I said, don't even worry about finding the right girl.
No?
No, not yet, man. I think people get too distracted with that stuff at a young age, like, and they get too caught up. The other thing is kind of like, man, I'm just like, you look at percentage rates of like divorce and percentage rates of stuff, right? Like, your rate's pretty high at a young age, but with somebody, because it's like a lot of times you haven't really discovered like who you are as a person, right? And it's like, I guess I can see it now as my kids getting older, right? Like thinking that like at a young age you really kind of think you know everything, but there's so much more growth that you're gonna have as you kind of go, right? And I think when you kind of lock into a partner really early, right? Unless it happens sometimes, man. I've seen rare cases where like it does, but the vast majority, I mean, of people like you grow and change as you get older, right? And so,
Yep.
depending on kind of what you're looking for and what that is for people, I mean, it's tough. And then people have kids, and then it gets tough because you have kids now, and then it's like you're kind of separated from your partner, and then like so there's all these different things because like from like having a like intellectual relationship to emotional relationship to sexual relationship to all those like factors in a relationship and making sure that they all can be there is like hard to know if you don't even know yourself yet, right?
True. What is like the most common question you get asked from these young guys? Because they see, like they don't even know your full story, but they see you're successful.
I think a lot of times like there's I mean I've had relationship questions from guys. I've had stuff about what's it called? Kind of the same thing. Like if you were like start over 18, what would the advice be that you would do, right? And I think that the mindset piece, man, if I could have worked on that earlier and been working on the mindset part of it and really
What is it about mindset like?
Everything's mental, man. Like everything in your life is mental. Like do you wanna, do you wanna get up and work out or you wanna watch TV? Do you wanna eat the chocolate bar or do you wanna like eat something healthy? Do you wanna like wake up in the morning or you're gonna sleep in? Like everything you do is a mental battle across the board, like no matter what it is, right? So the stronger you can make your mental state and the stronger you can get your mindset of what you wanna do and accomplish. I think that's it, right? And then you really like even like when I was like working out when I was younger, right? And I used to go to see these trainers and fitness guys, and not one time did anyone bring up the mental aspect of this. They're just like, yeah, man, just come work out. No, yeah, just eat whatever at home. But it's like, dude, that's like all this is like how you push yourself and mentally how you prepare yourself to go work out and be like dedicated and locked in for everything, right? And then you see like now, if you have that space of it and you have the right like kind of purpose and why behind things and you understand what you're doing, it makes everything so much simpler. To look at. So I think everything you're gonna do is gonna be a battle like mentally.
What was your why in the beginning?
Good question. What was that why?
Because bro, dental school, all that shit's long. How did you get through that? There's probably kids watching this, they're trying to be a doctor, lawyer, dentist too.
I think honestly probably like for us like growing up as like being brown, right? Like there's really like not a lot of opportunity like options to do stuff, so it was pretty rare. Like
did your parents force you to like go to school?
They didn't really force it, but it was just like it was like one of those things that just like it was never not an option to not do it. You know what I mean? There was never like a thought of like, oh, I'm just gonna graduate in high school and not do anything. Like that never like I was just like, obviously you're gonna go to university. Obviously you're gonna go try to push a professional career. Obviously you're just gonna do that.
It was kind of like
it just,
no
like,
question.
It was just like the normal path, and you didn't really like think about it. You know what I mean?
So
like,
I know you have an older brother.
Yeah.
He's also very successful.
Yeah.
Did that play a part in
for
like
sure.
pushing you?
I think like having him do what he did made it simpler for me just to kind of follow. Because I think you follow your environment, right? So I mean.
So tell everyone about your brother.
So he's the head of the cardiovascular program at the Cleveland Clinic. Cleveland Clinic is probably one of the top.
Where is this, in the U.S.?
Yeah, Cleveland, Ohio, but it's probably one of the top hospitals in the world.
Really?
Oh yeah, man. Like celebrities go there, dignitaries go there. Like when he took me there and showed me what they do, it's nuts. Like it's an insane like.
And your brother did this. How many years older is he?
He's 3 years older than me.
So yeah, he was always like ahead of you, doing big shit.
Yeah.
Was that part of like?
It always pushed you, right, to like work harder and like be better, and they just normalized it, right? I think that's the thing. Like, here's a big tip for all you like kids, right? Is like, it's gonna be your environment's gonna dictate a ton of what your future is going to be, right? That's why your partner's important. That's why your friends are important. That's why the things you do are important. Because whatever your friends are doing and like your social circle's doing, that's going to normalize for you. So if everyone's partying and drinking and not doing shit, you're going to be partying and drinking and not doing shit. If everyone's working out, you're going to start working out. If everyone's eating like shit, you're going to eat like shit. So it's like if everyone's religious, you're going to be religious. You know what I mean? Like that your 5 closest friends thing is so true. And I think that's the thing with kids growing up. The thing that's scary is, I think for most like parents, like looking back, is like you can do as much as you want as a parent for your kids, but it's more their friends and their circle that's
really
impact them more than anything else, right?
What were your friends like?
You know, I didn't really have a lot of friends, so
really?
I had a handful, like
because you grew up in Saskatchewan,
right? Yeah, that's like
so
honestly.
when did you move here?
No diss to Saskatchewan, but like I always joke about like I couldn't really make friends out there, and like everyone like country music, and everyone like did these like bush parties where they go out and drink in the field, and I was like, what hillbilly shit is this?
So who shaped you there?
I don't know,
mainly
man.
your brother?
My brother, and then just like
family,
like myself. But it was funny. Like once I finally left Saskatoon, I was like, oh.
At that point in Saskatoon, did you know you were gonna be like this guy?
You know what's funny, man? I met up with a buddy of mine, like
from Saskatoon.
Yeah, like I went to high school with. Yeah, nice guy. And like it was funny. We were chatting, and he's like, hey man, he's like, you always said you were gonna be like successful.
Oh really?
You always did. And I was like, really? So I didn't even think I was doing it back then, but I was, right? And that's the whole manifestation belief thing, right? If you really believe in yourself, like really truly believe in yourself enough, eventually it works. Eventually it'll happen. And it's like,
but how did you believe?
I just did, man. It was just in there, right? Like
it might come from like parenting, no?
It could have been like in my circle with my brother and like everyone around me. I think that people like I had a weird chip on my shoulder probably growing up, right? And I think a lot of guys have like a combination. Like a lot of super successful people, there's this like a study on it or something, but it's like they have a mixture of like this like unbelieving belief in themselves and like feeling that they're like better, but they also have a super huge insecurity about themselves.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it.
Yeah, it's like a combination of it.
I saw that.
Yeah, and so it's like I think that because you're always like trying to do better. You're never good enough. You're always working harder and like.
You still have that right now?
Oh yeah, man. Like always, dude. Like it's just like it's getting better and better. You can't. It's like, but you're always pushing yourself. I think the cool thing, man, is like if you're like really truly at this, you're like always trying to just get better and improve yourself and like work harder, right? So yeah. I think that for me is like kind of where I look at it. Is like I'm always just like me versus me every day and trying to get better, right?
This is how I try to explain it to like younger people. Like, yo, you see all these athletes. At a point, their body is they're just not able to perform because sport, you need your physical body.
Yeah.
But dude, they can literally think of business the same way.
100%.
It's a sport. You're in competition with everybody else.
Yeah.
But with business, you only get better.
100%.
There's no prime. There's no prime at 26. Yeah. There's no prime at 30. Yeah. Like you only get better because business is just a game of mind.
Exactly.
And like,
dude,
bro, it's fucking sick.
It's all game.
Like, why
man.
not start business?
Dude,
you know?
So smart, man. You're so awesome hearing you say stuff like that.
Yeah, it's so
true,
sick,
man,
bro.
It's like that's pretty much all it is, right? Is like, and that's the thing. Like trying to train and understand this, and like I remember like with my kids even, I was like, I felt kind of bad because I was like, hey man, I can't like, I want to keep curly in the back. You got that right? Anyway, I can't like, I was gonna coach him and do all this stuff for like sports, right? But then I was like, you know what, man, it's like, I'm not really gonna do that. I'm just gonna focus on teaching this shit instead, right? And try to focus on like explain this stuff how to do, because I like understand this stuff way better. And
so what's the next step for you, bro?
The next step, like with life, like another life or something, or no?
Life, business. What's the next 5 years look like?
You know what, man?
And
honestly, 10. Right now it's like, I think there's like. A lot of it is just like more growth and like in the companies, right? And trying to push it to like the next level to see like how optimized we can get everything, and then just be like keep expanding and doing that. So it's like a lot of it for us is like it's just to see like how big we can start growing things now that we've already got to this platform and this stage. Is like really to get to the next level of this, there's a lot more organization and a lot more stuff that need to get set up to be able to scale this at a bigger like level. So you know,
is there a certain number you're targeting for? Are you planning on an exit?
No, not yet, man. Like, I mean, I've always like, as long as I can enjoy it, I'll keep doing it, right? I mean, if the right opportunity would to come along, I would consider it. But there have to be a lot of pieces because it's like I got family and kids may end up like coming into it. Like, there's so many like variables right now that like it's hard to determine like what's gonna happen and where it's gonna go. And I think there's still a ton of potential for us to do more. with what we have. So I think because of that, I'm like, no, I'm still rolling.
So what advice do you give your kids?
Kind of the same thing we're talking about. I mean, honestly, like half the reason like I started doing all this stuff is just so
For your
like
kids.
if anything ever happened to me, my kids would see all this stuff and they have it. So like,
That's true.
yeah, man, it's cool seeing it though. I think there's like a generational shift right now with like a lot of young guys that are like
Getting
way
into
more,
business?
yeah, way more driven too, right? At a young age, you don't see as many guys. Like it was more rare to like see this, but you're seeing more and more people now that are kind of like driven to like grow and build.
Like, that's the thing though. Like, people are starting to, think like entrepreneurship is cool. They're trying to get into it, and nobody's really looking up to the traditional model, like the traditional route anymore. Like what you took,
Yeah.
school, and getting rich off school. After that, obviously you need to start your own practice. But
There's so many different ways
what
now.
message do you have for people that are in school trying to get there, like, become a doctor or something?
Yeah. I think, I mean, if you're doing it for the right reasons, you're good, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest piece is like, don't get distracted by all the bells and whistles, man. Know what's important to you, right?
What if
And,
they're
like,
strictly trying to get rich?
I mean,
Would you
that's
go that
probably
route
not
still?
the best option,
No?
man. Like, if it's like, I think the thing with like, if it's strictly just money in anything, man, that's probably not the best driver. Like, almost anybody you watch, any big like speaker that you talk to, right, or anyone you see, there has to be a purpose, and it can't just be like getting rich, right? Because getting rich is a side effect of the other stuff that you do. And it's like, it's sort of like, it happens, it's just by default when you're doing the right stuff and doing the right things and like helping the most people and doing the best stuff to like kind of make that happen. So, I mean, you want to get rich, just start dealing, I guess, right? Like, fucking, so you guys even, I'd probably get shot, but I mean,
What? Oh, okay.
just kidding, guys, just kidding. Just kidding. But I mean, there's scammers that get rich, right? There's guys that do all that stuff. There's all these like hustle ways to do it, and like, it's kind of a quick win. It just depends on your purpose and what you want, and like what you really means a lot to you. I think finding your purpose and your why is probably your biggest like thing you want to do right away, because that'll help you. Like, whatever you do, what you love, right? Like, it's easy to keep going and it's easy to keep working if you really enjoy like the life and like what you're doing. So, I think if you're in school, man, like it's worth it, right? I mean, I remember even like when I was in school, like
You feel like quitting?
well, it was interesting, right? Because I'm in my 20s and I was like kind of living like a student. But I see guys that like, for example, like went and worked on the rigs and they're making like hundreds of thousands of dollars driving Porsches and snowmobiles and trips and blah, 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 right? But it's like when you finally get there, it's like that exponential growth, right? It's like they kind of plateau at kind of what's happening if they're not doing the right stuff. But then at some point you can kind of start like skyrocketing and like your growth just goes way higher. So like now I would never trade it. And like, even I mean the next like 10 years still, right? There's still so much more time. There's no like time limit for people. I think that's the other thing. People get too caught up. Like, you got to do it now, and if you haven't done it by the time you're 26, it's too late, and like you're behind. You know what I mean? But it's like it's not like that.
Which part of your life was your favorite part?
I'd probably say like even right now, man. Like it just keeps getting better. Like honestly, like it's like I keep enjoying like every stage and like everything that happens. It's just different.
All right, last question.
I love it.
This one's a selfish one because I'm starting like a barbershop launch.
Oh, nice.
There's a lot of different ways you can run a barbershop business.
Yeah.
But if you had to build $1 billion barbershop business, how would you do it? Start from the beginning.
Jesus. All right.
I mean, you're already doing it with like, obviously it's a brick and mortar too.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing, man, like now looking at stuff, it's like, it's just an attention economy, right? And the more you can like get attention online and using social media and somehow scaling that, you're gonna be the way I think right now that you can get to like these. Because again, if you can figure a way that like.
What about like, would you do like one location, one city? Where would you go? It has to be $1 billion business. $1 billion business, and it's a barbershop chain.
You probably want to be like, go to like a major center and then like build like the barbershop in that city. And then once you get that and like make it like exclusive and make it like, 'cause if you're going to try to do that and get on there, I mean, you got to be different and like figure a way to get it that like you're getting the kind of like the trending hottest like clients. I mean, if you can start getting celebrities coming in,
Celebrities,
and treating them,
okay.
and then they're going to bring in other people that want to come, they're going to pay. And then scale that to every other major city you can, right? Because then you start doing like all the like New York, LA, Vancouver, Dubai, like, you know what I mean?
But
Mexico
how are you gonna
City.
stand out from barbershops there?
I mean, that's the thing, right? That'd be the big question is like, how do you get big? And like, how do these guys do it online to get their brand to take off? You got to figure out some way to like get your brand to like take off. It's probably going to be social media.
Social media?
Going to be something there with like, I mean, if you, for example, like if you were Cristiano Ronaldo's go-to like barber, pretty sure you'd like dominate a couple cities. Like, you know what I mean? If it's like, and he was like repping it, or if like he was the guy that was like doing it.
So influence marketing would be?
Gotta be. Well, like for that, if you're gonna get that big that quick, I would guess that's probably the way. But like, I mean, everything else is like, I mean, you've seen things like, I guess Dave's Hot Chicken's a good example, right? So they were just 2 guys or 3 guys, I guess, that opened up like a chicken stop. And now all of a sudden they like scaled, it worked, and now they opened up a franchise, and now they have them like across.
Would you do franchise for that barbershop then?
If you could set it up. I don't know, it's tougher though, because I think the problem with like, okay, so for stuff like we do, right, is like, it's so, there's so much of a human element and like mastery that needs to happen. Making a chicken sandwich isn't really like mastery, dude. It's like anyone can fucking like follow the instructions for that. You can't really just tell some dude to come in and like, hey man, step 1, cut hair. You know what I mean? It's harder to scale this because it's like there's human, like unless you can get robots and AI that consistently can do it, but there's like probably an artistic piece to what you do.
Yep, there is, definitely.
You know what I mean? And that's probably why some guys fail and some guys do good. And that's why it's tough probably to scale something like this, because it's like you and your artistic ability and the guys you can find, it's tough. Tough question there, bro. That was tough. But yeah,
Well, how do you
like,
plan on becoming $1 billion business?
Man, I think it's multifaceted, right? I think it's going to be a bunch of different things. We've been, yes, sure, man. We do a lot of different things, but we're trying to like simplify the process as much as possible. It's like cheaper, better, faster, right?
You staying in Canada?
Oh, I'll probably eventually get out. Like we're gonna have to. But even just, I mean, Alberta might just leave anyways. So, like, but I think a lot of it is like gonna be. We try to simplify the process as much as we can and keep it as simple as possible. So like, try not to overcomplicate it so it is possibly able to scale. I think try to keep it like that model. And so it's been working really well for us, and I think that's what we've been like playing with and figuring out. Now we've been able to get into multiple locations and simplify that process and train some really good people that understand. So we have our own training programs with our own like team members and like doctors that we put them through that get them the training.
Sick. Anything you want to say to the people before we end?
Oh man, yeah.
How do they get a contact with you?
On Instagram, probably easiest way. Just hit me up on there, Dr. Amer Hussain at Dr. Amer Hussain. That's about it, man. Just keep focusing on yourself and growing, right?
Yes, sir.
This is a good podcast. We can do this all the time, man. I can actually write this off.
Yeah, fuck it. Can start a series.
Yeah, man, you should do that.
Next one is gonna be the wives, bro.
I keep dropping that in like little trailers every time.